Welcome to this installment of my favorite Pokemon types. In this video, I'll be covering my favorite Dragon type Pokemon. As a disclaimer, this has nothing to do with metagame, it has nothing to do with overuse, underused, it has nothing to do with any of the competitive play scene, it just has to do with my favorite Pokemon. So, Dragonite is probably the first Pokemon from, and the only Pokemon really, in Gen 1 that it is the Dragon type. Well, Dragon Flying, and yes it does have pre-evolutions, but I won't be covering pre-evolutions in this video. Unless, of course, I prefer that pre-evolution. Anyway, Dragonite, a lot of people will say they will pass on because it has its body is very round. It's not at all, vicious looking. And that's part of Dragonite's charm. Dragonite is meant to look gentle. It is meant to be, a calm looking creature. But within its body, it has amazing and, great power. I remember even in the Pokemon manga, where Ash's Charizard was disobeying it, they actually made Dragonite look even weaker by making it look even more gentle, and somehow smaller than Charizard, but I believe Dragonites are taller than Charizards, so who knows, maybe Ash's Charizard is a particularly large one within the manga world, but Dragonite always was made to look like it wasn't particularly powerful, and that was part of what it does. It just doesn't look like it can pack a punch, but throughout the generations it has remained one of the stronger Pokemon that you can always rely on for different things. Now, talking from the Gen 1 standpoint, I'm gonna Hyper Beam you to death. But now Hyper Beam is a special attack, and while Dragonite's special isn't all that bad, you gotta go with that attack. With cool moves like Earthquake, Ice Punch, even, I guess, Outrage 2, even though I prefer Dragon Claw, and then maybe throw in an Iron Tail because now we have the Fairy type. Yeah, Dragonite is a pretty powerful Pokemon, no matter how you slice it. In the second generation, we got Kingdra. Kingdra was a water dragon type, allowing it to only have one weakness: dragon, like all dragons have. Well, I loved that. There wasn't really much that could hit Kingdra and take it down, and I only looked at it as that. I really liked the design, I liked that smooth look to it, and also, there was a lot I could do with it. I really depended on it a lot during the Pokemon Stadium 2 games, and even in later generations I still kept using Kingdra for quite some time. Kingdra was one of the Pokemon that I actually didn't mind having just one or two moves that it only really used, and the other ones were just filler slots. With Water Pulse, which could create confusion, and then later on it got Dragon Pulse, but I think I went with Twister Whip for a flinch. I would have it hold a King's Rock, just so that flinch might happen a little bit more. Though I'd also teach it moves like Surf and Ice Beam because you need those heavy hitting moves. I really enjoyed using Kingdra, and I still look to it. However, well, time hasn't been all that kind to Kingdra, and many other Pokemon could take that slot. That you gotta figure, with that sniper ability, you get those critical hits, and they're gonna hit harder. Flygon is a Pokemon that came out in Gen 3, and is easily missed. You could have Flygon in your party very early on. The Antlion that is Trapinch, and then Vibrava that it evolves from are very easily gotten. They're within that desert region right after the third gym battle. But Flygon itself is very aerodynamic. You see it flying through the air and it just looks so majestic. And it's got many round features. A lot of people just like Flygon for its looks alone. And that levitate ability prevents it, it adds an extra immunity to it because now it won't take any ground type attack damage. Ground and Dragon you wouldn't expect, and then it's in the insect group. Flygon is a very interesting Pokemon, and it also looks like it's wearing goggles. I came into Flygon a little bit late. I enjoyed teaching it moves like Flamethrower and Dragon Pulse, but I also enjoyed teaching it Fly as well as Earthquake, because I just liked the idea of flying on a Flygon. In the following generation, we got another Dragon Ground type, the Land Shark Garchomp. With its many fins, its serrated teeth, and just imagining it burrowing through the ground with its fins sticking out as it attacks the opponents, Garchomp is very powerful, and it's the signature Pokemon of the champion Cynthia. And with awesome moves like Brick Break, Iron Head, and Earthquake, because everyone does Earthquake, but I like Dig. I really do. I prefer Dig. Garchomp is pretty amazing. Druddigon, which I still want a shiny of, it would have that green body and the orange face, but Druddigon itself is just very serrated looking, and with those big gaping claws that it has, and everything about it is just like razor sharp. It even has the ability Rough Skin, in which if the opponent Pokemon makes contact with its body, it'll take some recoil damage regardless of what kind of attack it uses. As a mono dragon type, I think Druddigon is really awesome, and even if it's not, top tier or whatever, I always enjoy using it. The other ability it has is Sheer Force, which I thought that meant moves that might have a secondary effect were powered up. So I tried to use every single move I could put onto it, right? Thinking it was going to, power up all these moves, but then those moves don't have their secondary effect. So I sorta made a little bit of a boo-boo there. Tyrantrum, which is one of our fossil Pokemon from Pokemon X, or Y. But Tyrantrum is an awesome Pokemon. Tyrantrum is this big T-Rex. It has a big gaping jaw. With the tough jaw, or is it strong jaw ability, all its biting moves get a power-up. But being Rock and Dragon was kind of an interesting choice. But when I saw that I could have a Dragon type early on in my party, and I saw that it was a Rock type, I decided to take it on. I didn't know how good of a Pokemon it was going to be because we were all in the dark about Pokemon X and Y. But Tyrantrum proved to be very awesome, and having access to all the elemental fangs, that made it pretty good too. However, just having that Pokemon was really amazing in my party, and one of the few times I think I had a non-legendary Dragon type, or a non-pseudo-legendary Dragon type in my party through my main playthrough of the game. That's why I like Tyrantrum, plus it's got that really cool mane. Also from the 6th generation is Goodra. A lot of people that I've talked to said they didn't really care for Goodra because they don't accept it as a dragon because it's basically a slug. I liked Goodra. I think it's an amazing Pokemon. I like that it has Gooey as its ability, an ability that reduces the opponent's speed if they make contact with it. It's kind of different, but that stat deduction will stay even if Goodra is defeated. Now Hydration is pretty cool too, but I really like that Gooey ability. Also, Goodra is another Pokemon like Dragonite that doesn't look like it'd be very powerful or all that menacing, but Goodra proves to be a very powerful special attacker, and it's got a lot of bulk, so it can really take a lot of hits. Finally on this list is from Pokemon Sun and Moon, the final, Generation 7, Kommo-o. I wasn't quite sure what to think of this Pokemon when I first saw it, but then when I learned that it was a Dragon Fighting type, it was a must-have. I didn't know if it was a pseudo-legendary, I didn't really know too much about it, I just saw that it was a Dragon Fighting type, and hoped that it would have some sort of Dragon attack that also doubled as a Fighting type move, so it'd be like kind of a Dragon Fist, if you will. Kommo-o was really powerful, and with its scales, it has clanging scales, an attack that hits specially, but Kommo-o, I find itself, is more physical. However, Kommo-o's big selling point here is that it's defensive. All the usual pseudo-legendaries are more offense-based, but Kommo-o was the defense-oriented one, but with 2 offensive typings. I found that to be very interesting. I enjoyed having it in my party, and I enjoyed, continued use of it to this day. While my relationship with Kommo-o is still early, I felt it deserves a place on this list just because it was a Dragon Fighting type, and that's a cool combination. And also, you gotta just really enjoy the different design that Kommo-o has. Let me know about your favorite Dragon type Pokemon in the comment section below. Make sure to hit the links to follow me on social media, give this video a like, do subscribe, and check out my other videos in the right hand column. And now we're going to begin the Patreon portion, the special content that is exclusive to Patreon and should be heard or seen nowhere else. Bagon. I have a shiny Bagon named Bilgon. It's green, my favorite color is green, and I like to imagine that this Bagon chose to not evolve because it had a fear of heights, it didn't want to learn to fly, and it likes to keep its feet on the ground. With moves like Flamethrower, Headbutt, or is it Zen Headbutt? I haven't played with Bilgon in quite a while. But Bilgon was a special Pokemon I received as a gift from a friend, and I did ask him to breed it especially for me to have the quirky nature. Because I felt like quirky was more in my personality, and also apparently breeding it using the tapping method in Diamond and Pearl was really hard, so that makes this Bilgon, get it? Much better than every other shiny Bagon in the world. Rayquaza, to be a little more serious, Rayquaza is this green roller coaster of death legendary Pokemon that calms two other legendary Pokemon, maintains the balance in the world. It's such an amazing Pokemon that, I was immediately drawn to it. Its shiny form is black, but I prefer the green one for obvious reasons. And I don't know, I always like to imagine that if I were to do a Pokemon manga about myself, I could have the green orb, and I would have this connection with Rayquaza for whatever reason. Gen 3 was one of my favorite generations, and having this level 70 Mewtwo of its generation, green dragon, so much coolness about it. And even Mega Rayquaza just taking it to whole new levels with Dragon Ascent. There was just so much to like about it, and I can't imagine there are many people that dislike this Pokemon. Finally is Noivern, or specifically my Noivern, Sonic Bomber. So for my birthday one year, using the Pokemon X Friend Safari, I just stayed in there for hours. And I mean hours, every day leading up to my birthday. And I think it was on my birthday, or was it the day before, that I came across a shiny Noibat. I didn't know that it was green. I was actually trying to get Druddigon, because I like that orange face, as you heard me mention earlier. But moreover, having the green Noibat, well, maybe it was more teal, but I think it was green. And then when it evolved in Noivern, it evolved into Noibat. Noivern, right? I named it Sonic Bomber, and with moves like Boom Burst, right? Dragon Pulse, Fly, and I forget what the other move was, because I haven't... See, I was using it as my flyer Pokemon, but in Pokemon Sun and Moon, we can use Charizard all the time for that, so there's not much need to keep a flyer in my party. However, if I were to be flying around, it would be on Noivern, just because it's this giant green bat dragon thing. And you have to admit, of the new Pokemon that came out in the previous generation, Generation 6, Noivern has got to be one of the coolest ones. So I felt it deserved to be on this list, and I kept it in my party, the shiny one, for quite some time. It was an awesome birthday gift to myself, and I'm appreciative to myself for giving it to myself. And for the amount of time it took me, it better have been a good gift. Let me know in the comment section for Patreon, or if you want to head over to YouTube to watch the YouTube only version content. Let me know about your favorite dragon type Pokemon. You can also give, well, you can't give this video a like because you're over on Patreon, but let me know what you thought and tell me about some of your experiences with dragon type Pokemon as well. Thank you again for your support, and as always, check out YouTube and make sure to subscribe and check out some of my other videos. Thank you again.